Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So here we have a I think it's a 2017 MKX. You can see these are probably some of the worst cases of oxidation I've ever seen. And it's kind of strange. What's interesting about this one is that it's not yellow. So it tells me just all this old clear coat is what's just completely deteriorated. This is why I say that every make and model is different. Some are like yellow, some are just hazing at the top, like the bottom's very clear. But this one I can feel it's not rough or anything. He's got a little bit of tree sap right there, which will probably be kind of a pain to remove. It might gum up a little bit, but whenever you're doing your restorations, the inspection portion this inspection part is very, very important because it's gonna tell you what you're gonna start with. So the first thing I do is kind of rub my hand on it to see if I can feel any texturing. If I do feel texturing, I'll probably start with the 320 to thoroughly remove everything as fast as I can. But since this one's very, very smooth, I'm gonna start with the 400. I could start with the 600 and just finish with the 600 and call it a day and apply the clear coat afterwards. But for this particular case, we'll just hit it with 400 so I can get this stuff removed as fast as I can and then do the 600. So I already taped it up, but let's do it. All right, so we're gonna start with the 400 first. I'm just gonna spray it, get it nice and wet. And I'm just doing medium pressure. I don't have to really press on it. You just got to kind of let the clear coat do the work. Or I'm sorry, the sandpaper do the work. You can see that's just coming off super easy. Cool thing about these is that see how the headlight is kind of like protruding off of the panels, so they're not flush with the panels, so it's very easy to mask off. Just like that, you can see all that damaged clear coat or that oxidation is already gone. All right, so one way you could tell when you're done sanding with the 400 is you can see the water starting to repel. You can see right here. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but as I spray it, you can kind of see it repel a little bit. That tells me that it's too smooth for the water to stick to it. So we're gonna move on to the 600. All right, so the purpose of the 400 was to thoroughly remove everything as fast as possible. The 600 is going to smooth out the texture of the lens or the surface of the lens in preparation for the clear coat. So we'll just hit it with the 600 for a little bit. And when you get really good, you can actually hear the difference whenever you're sanding. It's kind of strange and kind of hard for me to explain, but as I'm sanding, there's a difference in sound when sanding with the 600 and the 400. That might just be me because I've just been doing it for so long that I can just kind of hear the difference. So there's that. Also, I could feel whenever the lens is pushing back based on the texture. So as I'm sanding, it's going to get smoother and smoother as it's gliding across the lens. So right now it's a little tough, so I'll just keep sanding. I'm going to keep spraying the water because it's going to remove all the sediments from in between the sandpaper and the headlight. So anytime you have a lot of sediments in between, the sandpaper is not making 100% contact with the headlight. So as I'm spraying, I'm removing that. So it's always 100% sandpaper against the headlight. All right, so I can feel this is super, super smooth. I mean, it's gliding across very easily now. And you can also see the water's repelling really good. So if you are doing this for the first time, or you're a little skeptical about when to move on, just sand it for another 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, just to be safe. Because the more you sand it with the 600, the smoother it's gonna get. Oh, and one other thing, you can actually see a little bit clearer. It's not as milky. That's also one tell that you're kind of good to go. So we're gonna remove the tape. I'm gonna be spraying as I'm removing. Makes it a little bit easier. All right. So you can see the water's repelling. We're in a good state. I'm gonna spray the bumpers a little bit. Try to get rid of some of this oxidate or the sandy, trying to get rid of some of that mess. Here we go. All right. So the next step is we're going to dry the whole headlight. Now, this is important to do when you're inspecting. So say that you're still getting into the business. You want to inspect to make sure that the headlight is completely milky. There's no dark areas or anything, because if there are dark areas, that means that there's leftover clear coat on it. And it could be pretty obvious after you apply the clear coat, the new clear coat. It'll look like it's scratched up, and not in like the sandpaper way, but very important part of the restoration process is to make sure that everything is removed. So now I got the blower. I'm gonna blow any trapped water out of here. So you'll see when I blow right here, a bunch of water will come out. It's important to do that because if I were to not do that and I were to apply the clear coat, the pressure from the clear coat is gonna blow all that water out on the freshly coated lens. Now I got a lint-free towel. I'm gonna dry it. And also you can blow out some of the trim panels down here just to clean it off. As I said, you don't want to have any, over time after you leave, let's say that I leave right now and it looks clean, and the course of 10 minutes, some of this loose water might drip out of the panels or these little trim pieces, and it leaves that white residue behind. So a customer will come out and there'll be I'll leave, it'll look good when I leave, but in 10 minutes, there's gonna be a bunch of water or that white residue all over the place. So pretty clean, nice and milky, which is exactly what we want. Now we're gonna mask it off. I try to wedge it in as deep as I can. Hey,
About that.
You want to watch? I'm about to spray it.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So it's because they're foggy to begin with, so is that what you're doing? So you're trying to make them the clarity again? Is that
Yeah, so what I did was I wet sanded it. It looked like this. I mean, that's awful.
Okay,
It looked like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna apply a new clear coat here in a second. Watch, I'll hold on one sec. It looks pretty interesting to watch.
before and after.
Yeah, that was my dad's idea. He's like, you should just do one. I was like, yeah, good idea. All right. Good day to be outside, right?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Finally. Those crazy weather we've been having.
Had it been breezy for you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Came to Ohio, but
Nice.
we're here for the week. Yeah, I think we picked a good week.
Oh, you couldn't have picked it. But, well, you got a little taste of Florida, how the weather can be kind of, you know, beautiful one day, then rainy and cold the next day.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And the breeze, I heard it was sort of breezy the night we came in.
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy out.
That's the price you pay to live in paradise.
Right? All right, we're gonna sanitize it. All right, so just gonna sanitize it.
So you wet sand it?
So I wet sand it.
You see, okay, like what? Like 2,000 grit or something?
No, 400, 600.
400, 600.
Yep. And now that that's good, I'll apply the clear. Pull this back just a hair.
And you spray a solution?
Yep, just spray it. It's got filling properties in it, so. And you just let it cure a little bit and it'll glass over. Yeah.
What's the life of that?
Between 3 and 5 years. It depends on how good you take care of it.
Okay.
Like if you're running through car washes all the time, if you're, you let bugs dry on it.
What is it? Is it car washes? What really happens with
The sun ultimately.
the sun? Oh, the UVs just.
The UV just beat up the clear coat. So so after they press the mold for the headlight, they apply clear coat to protect it.
Okay.
And then just like the car paint starts to deteriorate. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
Fine, thanks, man.
Yeah. You guys have a good day. Enjoy your trip. All right, so we are good to go there. Now we're gonna move on to the next one. We're gonna let that one dry for a bit. I am on the beach. I'm beachside right now, so there's a lot of traffic, a lot of people walking around, so I am not surprised. It's a very, very interesting process, guys, and one business tip I can give you is when you are doing restorations out in public, do one at a time. Complete one all the way from start to finish and do the other one. That way it sits like this. So the reason being is if people are walking by, they're driving by, at this specific moment, they could see the difference on how it looked versus how it's gonna come out. So I know it might not be the most efficient way to do it, doing one at a time, but based on my experience, it's very good marketing to do one at a time. It's not like it really adds, it's not going to really add a lot onto it, the time frame. But yeah, situations like that I'm used to. People just coming in and, oh man, that tree sap is going to be a pain. Let's see what we can do. There we go. I was sketching on that tree sap. It's gone now. But yeah, that dude was from Ohio. For those of you who don't know, I'm in Florida. I'm sure you heard him say paradise. That's subjective. When I say it gets hot down here, guys, it gets hot. I've had a farmer's tan since I started doing this, and it's never going away. So this one's actually worked with me a lot easier than the other one. You could pretty much see everything's already gone. Which is kind of strange because you think they both be the same. I mean, they both looked pretty bad. But this is why I always say that every headlight is different. This is why I always see videos of other restorers. They'll say, oh, look how easy it is to do this headlight restoration. And they'll be working on like a Honda Civic. or a Toyota Camry. Some of the easiest ones in the industry. If you want to see a real professional in their craft, or if I want to see a real professional in their craft, I want to see them doing like a 2015 Chevy Silverado. Very, very, very difficult vehicle. Maybe a Porsche. And it's, those are the ones that like really interest me, because they are not easy vehicles to do. And a lot of times on the camera, you can't see the imperfections after they do their final product. So a headlight restoration is 2 steps. First one is the prep, which is sanding, removing the oxidation, all the imperfections. And the second step is the restoration itself. It's restoring the clarity. So they don't show up close. And I could say this because I've been in the industry for a long time, and I know what they look like if all the clear coat's not removed. And no amount of, I see it all the time, WD-40, no amount of liquid sandpaper, there's nothing I can put on this lens that is going to be better than sanding it. So don't get fooled. You have to sand a headlight to restore it, because that old clear coat has to be removed. The imperfections, the rock chips, the old clear, everything has to be removed. You have to start from scratch. All right, so that was the 600. We're good to go. I thought that guy, I was hoping that dude was from the area and was gonna be like, hey, I need mine done. But said he was from Ohio. All right, so I'm gonna clean off the bumper of all this white residue. You know, I will admit, talking to you guys right now made me miss you guys. Made me miss this. As I said, I haven't really been filming or anything like that. And again, I kind of want to put a little disclaimer in there, guys. I don't talk bad. I don't like talking bad about any other restorer or anything like that. So you're never going to catch me on here saying that someone's an idiot for doing it this way. Actually, I'll take that back. The only time you'll see me calling somebody an idiot for a restoration they're doing is if they're putting bug spray on their headlight. If they're doing just, I mean, come on. Just dumb stuff like that, you kind of warranted being called an idiot to do that. But I'm still not going to do it. I'm going to say I think it's a very dumb idea to put bug spray on a headlight. And I do a lot of digital marketing for the business, and the amount of people, specifically when I'm marketing on Facebook, like the Facebook ads for this business, I can't even tell you how many people will comment and say, just use WD-40 or just use bug spray. And it just drives me nuts, because whenever I hear somebody do that, give that advice, it's more issues for me, because what happens is they'll take that advice, believe it or not, people do still do that. They'll be on TikTok and everything, and they'll see somebody put lemon juice, baking soda, and bug spray on the headlight. And they'll be like, oh, I could do that. And they'll go out and do it. And guess who they end up Googling after they mess it up? A company like me. Somebody who's professional in the business. So they're like, crap, I messed it up. let me call a professional to come out and do it. I'm a huge advocate for DIY. I've said it in the past. But I'm an advocate for the correct way of doing DIY kind of projects. It just reminds me of like putting cooking oil in the engine instead of motor oil, you know? Alright, so wedging it in there, nice, good fit. It's so oddly satisfying when it just goes right, it like wedges right in. Mask this side up a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna put a little bit more tape because that wind is starting to pick up just a hair. Now, if you're interested in doing your own headlights with the same method, the Headlight Solutions method, it's not super difficult. It's really not. It's actually oddly satisfying in my opinion. That's one reason why I still kind of do it. I like doing it. It's fun. It's fun to me. Especially when you see the customer's face whenever they like come out and see it. I like to say that it kind of restores someone like this guy who's had this car for an extremely long time. I think he bought it new actually. I think he said that. But you're restoring their newfound, or you're giving them a newfound love for the car because it looks so much better. So they want to take care of it more. You know, they want to get a car wash. They want to get get the maintenance done and everything. It kind of restores their love back for the car. Oh, almost forgot to alcohol wipe it. Whew, would have been a huge issue. But again, whenever I alcohol wipe it, it kind of like gives me peace of mind knowing that there's nothing in between the headlight and the clear coat. Which I know I sound like a broken record when I say that. Because I always stress to you guys, nothing on this headlight is going to sanitize it more than rubbing alcohol. Always use rubbing alcohol. All right. Oh, I forgot to show it because that guy was coming to talk to me. So again, this is the Next Gen Headlight Solutions clear coat. No polishing needed. Putting on a nice thick coat. So you put on a nice thick coat. Sorry about that. And it's good for years to come. As I told that guy though, it depends on the person. If you're driving the car constantly, you're going through car washes all the time, you are not taking care of it, of course the clear coat is going to give out. So one thing about these, I can actually see it on the inside right here. I can see there's damage on the inside paint from the bulb. So these headlights are the bulbs themselves, they're very powerful. So it's not out of the ordinary to see that they're damaging the inside pane of the lens. Situations like that, obviously not your fault. But it is very, very common on all vehicles. People will say, you know, you turn on the headlight at night and you see all these tiny little crystals and little smears and everything like that. A lot of that is on the inside. A lot of that, because you constantly have a bright beam and you see how far headlights project onto the road. That's a very powerful beam of light baking that inside pane of the lens. So you can't say that it's not doing any damage. It's doing damage, it's just damage over time. Alright, so here's the finished product. You can see that, well, I don't know for sure if you can see it on camera, but you can see that spot I was talking about. But overall, 10 times better. I mean, this is directly in the sun, so it should dry fairly quickly. If you do ever have to test it to see if it's dry, use the back of your knuckle and just rub your hand on it, or your knuckle on it, because it's not going to leave like a huge dabble on it. This one is still a little tacky, but it'll dry it very, very quickly. There's actually a few imperfections at the inside right here. But overall, 10 times better. Yeah, these are bifunctional HIDs, so these are super powerful, but much, much better. Thanks for watching, guys.